Swimmer, or hi everyone. I'm MayW1, this is Growmate Cook, and welcome to my garden. I am here today to introduce you to Polka, Biscuit and Rosie. We have, in our quest for self-sufficiency, gotten ourselves some chickens. Now, chickens are really useful in an organic garden because one, they provide a lot of really nutritious poops. The manure from chickens is really high in nitrogen and lots of really good stuff for your soil. So we are enhancing the potential quality of our future soils by having the chickens peck and scratch around and fertilize this ground that hopefully will be our next garden bed. The other really great thing about the chooks is that in a few weeks' time, once they finish maturing, they will start giving us eggs, which eggs are a really great addition to an organic garden because they provide all 7 essential proteins and help to balance out our very vegetable and fruit-heavy diet. Here I have the beetroot that I sowed a couple of weeks back into an old egg tray, and it's a very sad story. As you can see here, a lot of them sprouted. There's still one with a leaf there, but all of these little red shoots have actually had their tops eaten off by slugs. We've had a lot of rain the last week, really heavy for days and days and days at a time. And so all of my things that I was sprouting, like beetroots and lettuces that had come up when we had this really wet period, have mostly just gotten eaten. And so, you know, that's a sad story, and we'll have to start some more so that we have beetroots, because I love beetroots. But it just is a really honest reminder that actually you can never be sure when you're doing organic gardening. And sometimes the slugs just come and eat everything. So, sowing more is the next step. Now down here what I'm doing is hoeing trenches, ready for our 3 sisters bed out here in the field. So what we're doing is hoeing lines across the hill. So the hill comes down and we're hoeing lines this way so that when we water or it rains, the ridges act like tiny swales and they catch the water and let it soak down deeply to water our beans, our corn and our squashes. But for now, we're just using a bit of a marking stick so I know how far apart my rows need to be, and giving it a good hoe over. The next step for increasing our self-sufficiency. Now, we don't expect to become completely self-sufficient. We're still going to have to buy meat and cheese and milk and all of that sort of stuff. But the idea of these tasks is that we can reduce the amount of things that we're buying in. And for us, corn is a delicious treat and we both love it, Mr. O and I. And we both really like squashes, things like butternut and spaghetti squash, so those winter squashes which store. And this year I'm growing a French bean which we can dry. So the combination of the 3 sisters in this bed should work for us really nicely. So the next step that I'm doing is just shoveling in some compost. Our soil is quite heavy clay, and as such it can be really hard work. So I'm just improving the soil along my rows. That looks pretty good just there like that. And then I'm just going to pop my corn in reasonably spaced, about 2 hands apart, along my row. So the variety of corn that I've got is the same one I sowed last year, because like I said before, we're doing this so that we're saving a bit of money. So using old seeds is a good way to do that. And you know, because these are old corn seeds, I'm sowing them 2 in each spot so that hopefully at least one germinates, because old seeds are sometimes a little bit unreliable. The next thing I am going to sow in between my corn are butternut squash. So I'm going to alternate. I'll do butternut squash in this row and spaghetti squash in the next. But in between my corns, I'm just popping 1 or 2, because these are old ones that I've saved from a couple of years ago now. And saving your own seed for things like squashes, particularly pumpkins, spaghetti squash, any of those winter squash is quite simple. You just take them out and dry them from the center. So saving seeds and planting them up now is a fantastic thing to do. So I'm just going to look for the spots in between each corn and pop in a couple of squashes. This, I think, however, is going to take me a little while to get on with all of this sowing. So I think that's probably about time, well, about all we've got time for this week at least. So if you like what we're doing, please like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you want notifications, use the bell icon below. And until next week then, do widzenia.